As the heat of a glaring sun beats down upon the Fordson High School football field, an annual August tradition is playing out in Dearborn, Michigan: summer practice. It's an intense time of year for these teenage athletes, running drills and honing their skills for long hours in the grueling heat. The mascot of the Fordson football team is a tractor, but Coach Fouad Zaban knows his players are not machines. They need water to stay hydrated and to stay in peak physical condition. But the drinking fountain next to the field stands empty, the water dripping to the ground instead of into the players' mouths. That's because this year's summer practices fall during Ramadan, a time when devout Muslims refrain from eating and drinking from sunrise to sunset. Many of the players on the squad observe the religious practice of fasting, which presented a unique challenge for Coach Zaban.
It's just not safe. It's not normal for someone to be out here for about 6 to 7 hours a day, running around in 90-degree weather and not being able to drink.
In search of a solution, Coach Zaban talked with his players, both Muslims and non-Muslims, as well as officials at the school district. He decided the best time to have practice was after his players broke their fast at night. The Fordson Tractors spent several weeks in August practicing from 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. with the support of the community and most parents. Zaban says only one family called him with concerns.
But the few that have been, detractors, have said, try to make it a religious issue. Why are we mixing religion and school or sports? And ultimately, the only answer that I can give them is this is for the safety of the kids.
Go! It is a very different team than the one Ronald Amen played for at Fordson in the early 1960s. Then, he was one of the few Arab American Muslims at the school. He says adjusting practices would not have been a consideration.
Wouldn't have happened. When I was in high school, that very first year, I was lost in the sea of, for lack of a better term, white kids, and I made very few friends. I felt very isolated. I really gave some serious thought to dropping out of school just because of that.
Amen says things gradually got better once he started playing sports at Fordson. He has watched the Arab American community in Dearborn grow over the years, and the makeup of this year's football team is very different from his squad 50 years ago.
The football team is probably about 98% Muslim, but there are some non-Muslims on the football team.
The long night practices have now ended at Fordson. Though Ramadan continues, the current afternoon practices are not as long or as grueling, allowing Coach Zaban to get his athletes accustomed to the conditions during games played in the late afternoon.
It's time for us to prepare for our first game. It's a tough game. It's Novi Catholic Central, #1 team, or the state champs from last year, so we have our work cut out for us, and that's what we're going to be concentrating on.
The team had an undefeated season last year going into the playoffs, something they hope to repeat this year as they try to take the team further toward the Michigan State Football Championship.
1, 2, 3, family!
Kane, Farabaugh, VOA News, Dearborn, Michigan.